Welcome to the Auction Block Podcast. Straight talk from the block. Welcome your hosts, Garrett Riles and Benjamin Bishop.
Welcome to the Auction Block. I'm your host, Garrett Riles, and I'm here today with my friend,
Benjamin Bishop. And we are honored today to have Mr. CJ with us. And it is quite the honor to have Mr. CJ via webcast with us today, and he's got some pretty exciting news, and we're just going to let him jump in and tell us of a very exciting accomplishment that he's just achieved here in the state of Mississippi. Mr. CJ, welcome to the Auction Block.
Guys, thank y'all for having me. So every year the Mississippi Auctioneers Association, they put on a state competition, and so went, competed, won the state title, got to compete with some of my really good friends, a lot of really good talent. It's a great deal. If anybody is an auctioneer and not a part of the MAA, I would very strongly encourage you. It costs $100 a year to join. You have a whole group of guys behind you, and I would encourage anybody to come and next year and compete in the competition. You'll learn so much, and it's just a good time, and, it's just really awesome deal.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. So you're a MAA champion and not a MMA champion.
That's right. State champion. I don't want to get in the octagon.
CJ Rea.
Yeah.
I ain't built for the octagon.
I got you.
Now, I may can take Jay Worley or somebody like that, but that's about it.
Oh, now?
Yeah. I feel you on that. I'm not built for the octagon either. I don't reckon. But man, what an accomplishment! That's awesome. Where was this year's hosted at?
They held it at Jeff Martin. Mr. Steve Riles is our president, and they used Jeff Martin's facilities as an office, and he was kind enough to let the association every year. He's working just like we do every time we have an auction on Saturday, and lets us come in and sell some of his beginning items. And so the association really appreciates him for doing all that, and they got a good facility down there.
How do they? Nice. How does it start? Like when you how does it go how does the competition go?
So they actually take us all in. I think there were 7 of us. They lock us in a room, and then they come get us out one by one, take everybody down in front of a microphone, and judges interview you. They ask you questions, stand out there, answer all the questions, sit down in the crowd, and then they get up there, and we're selling stuff just like the beginning of any of your sales, Garrett. We're selling jumper cables and everything, all kinds of different stuff. It was a whole lot of fun, and it was a really, really good competition.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's a pretty natural environment. It's not very rigid or formal as far as a ballroom setting, that kind of deal. It's more in your own habitat kind of feeling.
Absolutely. Other than wearing the sport coat, but they do have air conditioners, so that wasn't that bad either.
Yeah. And luckily it wasn't July and August.
Ain't no doubt.
Here in Mississippi, it doesn't matter if you're an air conditioner or not when it hits that time of year around here.
100%.
And so that was the Mississippi Auctioneer Association. That's man, what an achievement! What an achievement!
This is the first year?
No, they've been doing it for 30 years, I think, maybe longer than that. I really don't know, but a lot of my mentors have won it in the past, and it was a real honor to be able to go and follow in their footsteps.
Well, I know for a fact you're a good auctioneer. I'll give you that. You sound really good. You do a good job when you help us, and we really appreciate all your help. You've been there with us since I think you were one of the very first phone calls I had.
Since day one, yeah. And that we can thank my Uncle Buddy for that.
Yeah.
And we can go from one thing to your love of fishing.
Yeah.
That helped me get a job and lifelong friends and a place I enjoy to work. It's funny how life intertwines even with stuff like that.
Yeah.
If it wouldn't have been for Buddy, we probably wouldn't even know each other.
No, but I'm glad we did. I'm glad I know Buddy. He's a good fella.
Yep.
What's that sitting behind you?
That is a 1969 40-20.
That
is actually the tractor that I learned to drive a tractor on.
Really?
Yep.
Green paint kind of spikes my interest a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the green paint. I've actually got another John Deere that I love that I actually bought from you.
Yeah.
I've been bush hogging all week on it. That's a good tractor.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the question mark on the front of the tractor that spiked your interest. That's that's what grabbed my interest. There was the question mark.
That was actually, we're doing an inventory of all my grandfather's stuff, and he's one we can talk about. He's the reason for my love of auctions, but he loves an auction. He's good for an auction because he'll come up out there and he'll just keep his hand in the air.
That's
And
cool.
a lot of the stuff in this barn you see is stuff that's been bought at auctions. I'm sure he bought that tractor at an auction, but we were doing an inventory of all of his stuff, and I wasn't there, and everybody was trying to figure out what we're going to keep, what we're going to sell, and that ain't going nowhere. And when they asked me about that, I said, no, that's going to stay with me. Tractor's actually been sitting for 10 years. It lived its entire life. I think Papa's had it 30 years probably. When I was a kid, we drove it, used it, bush hogged with it, dragged roads with it. Papa actually flipped it over one time backwards. That's why the top's not on it. The top's actually sitting down there on the hill. And me and my boys are going to restore it, put the top back on it, hook a bush hog to it, and keep on working it. I drug it to my shop that I had in Florida. It stayed there for about 4 or 5 years under a shed, brought it back out here. I said, you know what? I'm going to put a battery in that old tractor and see what she'll do. I'll drain the diesel fuel, got a new fuel filter. I was waiting on Pawpaw actually to come out here. He wanted to hear it crank. And I said, well, I'm going to just put a hot battery in it and see if it spins over. And stuck a battery in it and turned the key, and I'll be doggone it. I mean, the fuel line wasn't hooked up, filter wasn't hooked up, nothing. It just started with the fuel that was in the top of the motor, and she fired right up for a couple seconds, sputtered out, and I said, well, this ain't going to be no problem. So now it's just a lot of nitpick little odd and ends I got to do, and she'll be back in the field working just like it was meant to be.
That's nice. That's really nice.
What is it they say? Nothing runs like a deer.
That's right.
That's right. Especially not them old ones.
Yeah.
Talking about that, like whenever we have guys bring stuff in and consign at the auctions, and they'll bring a tractor or, stuff that it's a little older stuff like a 4020 or a Ford 3000 or something. And I'm like, man, that's a nice tractor. Where'd you get it? Well, it was my granddad's tractor. And I'm like, I always feel like, man, are you sure? Are you sure you want to put it in the auction? Make sure before we do it. I mean, you got time to back out now, but once it's in there, it's go time. And I've always, I always wonder, like, are you sure you want to do this? Because I kind of got the same situation you do. We've got one of our granddad's tractors, and we're working on it. And I'm like, man, once it's gone, it's hard to get it back.
Man, people, you get attached to stuff, and I'm a firm believer. Cars, tractors, everything, all that old equipment's got a personality. Every one of them. I've got one right here that's a problem child. It's a great tractor, but it just when it runs when it wants to, and that's what it does. And they're all different.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff, I've got a good anti-theft device because you got to get on it and kick it the right way and put the screwdriver in the right spot to get it to crank up.
Yeah.
All except for that one I bought from you. That's the nicest tractor we've ever had.
Well, I appreciate your business that day, but that's a pretty cool story to look at and say, hey, you're going to get that going. And you mentioned something the other day, like you're going to get your sons to help you along the way. I know they're still young right now, but you're going to get them to help you along the way with the restoration of it. That'll be a learning experience and good for them.
Yeah, that'll make memories for a lifetime there, restoring Papaw's tractor. The time you and your boys put into that'll be something y'all can reminisce over the years. You've seen the memes on Facebook of you've never held a flashlight for my dad, so
yeah, I've been there plenty.
I just go ahead and forewarn your boys that there's there's going to be some times when they don't hold the flashlight right or don't bring the right wrench back. But still, it'll be good bonding, be good time with your boys, and something y'all can reminisce through the years about bringing that tractor back to life. When your papa, put eyes on it the first time when he bought it, and that'll create a lifetime of memories, no doubt.
You mentioned him earlier and said that he's kind of what got you started into the auctioneer, wanting to be an auctioneer, I guess.
Yeah, so him and my great uncle, they went to Mendenhall School of Auctioneering, which is actually where I went. They went in 1972. My Uncle Kenny actually wanted to leave halfway through, and Papa said, no, we're going to stay and just see what happens. And thank goodness they did, because it turned into a 40-year legacy of a great family-run business. Our family has been very blessed, and I'd like to take that time right now to say how well the Lord has blessed not just me, but my entire family. Always when I'm on something like this, got a platform, want to encourage people to read the Gospels, learn about Jesus, because that stuff's real. I don't think we put enough emphasis on it in today's world, and that's our job, is to do that. And he has been so good to us. There's been hard times, but we've always gone through it, and we always can look back and smile and laugh and be proud of where we are.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
And 40 years of Auctioneer legacy, that is quite the heritage that runs pretty deep. You said your uncle wanted to cut out early. Was it the the Betty Botter that made him want to throw in the towel, or
Yeah, I'm not sure if either one of them can do Betty Botter. It's actually funny. They did not do this when I went. But when they were there, they would come in. They had I think they had bunk houses or something. But anyway, they would come in and wake them up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And there was a patch of woods beside the auction school that was not developed. Well, they'd make them walk out through them woods at 5 o'clock in the morning, just chanting and hollering and screaming, getting their lungs ready for the day. And I think that's why my Uncle Kenny wanted to leave. He may have felt like he was joining a cult or something. I don't know. But Papa made him stay, and it worked out good, because, I mean, the auction industry has blessed my family tremendously. And it's a whole lot of fun, and I'm very proud of which we were in the car auction business, and I actually still work for the people that we sold to.
Yeah.
And love doing it. I was there today. I was there this morning.
You work for quite a few car auctions throughout the week, every week.
Work 3 a week, working DAA Jackson on Tuesday, Long Beach Auto Auction, DAA Jackson, that's David Andrews. Long Beach Auto Auction, that's Brian Morris. He's got a great facility down there. All the places I work are great. And then Mobile is a DAA auction owned by David Andrews as well. And so I really appreciate those guys. They keep food on my family's table and allow me to do what I like to do and make a pretty decent living at it. And it's I ain't never worked a day in my life. Yeah. I do more work out here at the house, and I enjoy that too.
Chad, last week, you and him travel together a lot, don't you?
Me and Chad Brantley had traveled a many a miles together. Son.
If you didn't catch last week's show, go check it out, because that's Chad Brantley, and him and CJ are they're kind of like salt and pepper at our auctions. They're always together.
Yep. Auctioneer brothers.
Yeah.
Chad's helped me a lot in my career. My uncle actually kind of helped him get in the door of the car auction industry, and he always said, well, I'm going to try to pay him back, and he did. He paid him back a lot more than what he could have. Yeah. Chad's a good guy and a good friend.
Yeah, we enjoyed having Chad on last week. It was a lot of fun. So tell us a little bit, or tell our listeners a little bit about the car auction. I was fortunate enough in auctioneer school to visit a car auction, and my best way to describe that is organized chaos. And this was a small car auction. They just had 2 lanes going at the same time, and it was just organized chaos. So enlighten our viewers and listeners on the car auction environment, because it's not like any other auction.
Basically, it's car auction's very fast paced. We're dealing with dealers, don't necessarily, we do have some we deal with the public, but for the most part, it's dealer only wholesale market. You got to have a dealer's license to be able to come in and buy. So it's people that are there are used to being at an auction for the most part. So we, try to get through them pretty quick, while also still getting the most money we can and trying to put the deal together. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do as auctioneers. We're basically mediators between the buyer and the seller, and we want the best deal is when everybody walks away happy. And that's what we strive for every day on the block behind the microphone. And the dealer market is very, very quick, fast. It's not, sometimes we take a little more time when we're out there dealing with the public, because somebody may not understand what's exactly going on is completely different when you work in a dealer only sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with the dealer side, let's just take a stab here on the dealer car auction. How quick is a car moving through there? Like, I mean, what's the average lot time on a car on a dealer auction?
It varies. It varies per car. It varies for the market you're in. A lot of the sales we work, I think no more than a minute on each vehicle. Uh, but we're running 100 cars through a lane basically. Now you got some places there may be 250 in a lane. Now them boys, they cock it back and they're going. They're probably selling 30 seconds a car. But it's different market. Those buyers are used to that environment.
Yeah.
Stuff it brings good money. But it's just everywhere you go is different. That's what I love about the auction business is ain't nothing really black and white.
There is no standard, is there? It's just kind of.
I thrive in this business because I don't ever really have a plan when I wake up in the morning. I do better under pressure. That's just like when Garrett called me and asked what we're going to talk about. I said, heck, let's just wing it. We ain't we'll find something to talk about.
A way to throw us under the table there. So
no, I like it.
This could be the podcast we actually go viral with.
we may do it.
But yeah, it's those car auctions, they're pretty impressive to watch those guys work those, and then not just the auctioneers but the ringmen that work the car auction are very impressive, because they're the ones, yanking on the dealer's tailcoat, come on now, let's get it and get it done.
That's right.
The auctioneer, that's what everybody sees and thinks of at an auction, but the ringmen, they're just as important. If sometimes I would say maybe more than the auctioneer, because they are the ones really out there, right there in the buyer's face, talking one-on-one with them.
I think 99% of all your auctioneers would agree on that, because it's your ringman that's down there on the ground making that personal connection, poking fun, making some jokes, and kind of getting in their ear a little bit on, this is what you came for. Let's get it done, and not miss out on it. And the auctioneer can't do that from behind the mic. He can do a little bit, to build some rapport with the crowd, but it's really the ringman that's there shaking hands and kissing babies.
Man, you got to have a good team. And another person that everybody often forgets about is the clerk. Well, I cut my teeth as a clerk. 2 of my jobs that I've got now are because I went in as a block clerk and was fortunate enough to not stay there very long. And block clerks are very, very important people. People don't realize how hard of a job that is, man.
That is tough.
That's a tough one.
I don't know about the car auctions, but I know at a regular, or like our equipment auctions, and we're not near as fast as y'all are. And that's tough just doing that. You just mess up one number, make a 8 or 3, and you've got a major problem.
Yeah.
I ain't no doubt. You're under a lot of pressure when you're on clerking on that block.
That's right.
Ain't no doubt about that.
You got to write fast, write legible, and write right.
Yeah,
100%.
So yeah, hats off to all the clerks out there working the block, and the ladies in the office that have to deal with the chaos when it's over.
Yeah.
They
I ain't no doubt.
Bless their hearts is all I can say to them, because they deal with all the buyer's remorse and seller's remorse and all of that there in the office. But anyway, well, CJ, man, what an accomplishment for achieving that Mississippi Auctioneer Association championship, man. That is something to be commended. Maybe one day when I grow up, I can achieve that status. Y'all
come join next year. I'd love to have y'all.
Yeah,
and they would too. We need the association needs all the support it can get. We really need to do better as licensed auctioneers in the state of Mississippi and help support our association, because they support us. Mr. Steve Riles does a wonderful job, not just him, as a whole team of people, but it's a good association. If you're in the business, you need to join.
Yeah. How old were you when you went to auctioneer school?
I actually couldn't even legally get an auctioneer license when I went to auctioneer school. I was a junior in high school. I was 17. Heck, I think I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
But I was 17 when I went. Me and my granddaddy, he went and talked to the headmaster at school, told him what we're doing. He said, that's fine. He sent me a booklet of work. I can't remember if that booklet of work got done or not. It probably didn't. But me and Papa took off. We got on a flight, headed to High Point, North Carolina, which is the furniture capital of the world. This family, the Mendenhalls, they had an auction school and they had a car auction. And what's really funny is when Papa and Kenny went in 1972, they always told me stories about when they went. And Uncle Kenny, when I told him I was going, he said, son, the first thing they going to do when you walk through them doors, they going to take you to the right to a room. They going to sit you down. They going to turn a video recorder on, and they going to set a ceramic 3-legged pig in front of you. And they going to say, sell that 3-legged pig to the best of what you think a good auctioneer should sound like. I said, this is what, 40 years 40 years later that I'm going. And I said, there ain't no way they kept up with that pig that long. But sure enough, I walked through them doors. That's the first thing they did. Thank goodness that video got lost. It's not in archives anywhere because it was absolutely terrible.
Oh, boy. Wish we had that to play at the end of the show. Hey.
That'd be a good thumbnail is what that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. But I was 17 and, had a great time. Me and Papa had a good time. And so when I was talking about my granddaddy earlier, how he loves an auction, I get it honest. They have a student auction while we're there, and they let all of us sell. We came on an airplane. Everybody knew this. Before the student auction was over, my granddaddy had bought an old-timey TV set. I actually just threw that in a burn pile about 2 years ago. It's been sitting in this barn with an old one and big heavy TVs, 2 pinball machines, and something else. And one of them guys asked me, they said, how'd y'all get up here? I said, we flew. He said, I ain't never seen no U-Haul hooked to behind a commercial flight, but we may see one. And so me and a buddy of ours actually drove back when they had the next student auction. Went in the truck. We could have fit everything in the truck, but just like the apple don't fall far from the tree, I went in the student auction, wanted to help them guys out a little bit learning, and I ended up buying some more stuff. We had to go rent a U-Haul. We drove straight up there and straight back to Jackson, Mississippi, never stopped. And when we were pulling back into Jackson, the sun was rising on us. It was quite a trip.
Yeah, that sounds like an adventure there.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, CJ, we appreciate you coming on today and taking the time to come on the show and talk about some of your experiences and the competition. And we really appreciate you coming on today.
Yes. Glad to be here, boys.
Yes,
Glad
sir.
to be here.
Thank you for
appreciate y'all doing this. I've been wanting for a while. I love podcasts, and I've been thinking, man, if we had something that some auctioneers were doing, so super proud of y'all. I hope it really takes off. I listen every week, so I'm enjoying it.
I apologize. You're the one viewer that's been consistent. I apologize for all the material you've had to endure.
I don't know. My brother Grant.
I think it's going good. Y'all doing a great job.
Him and Grant.
Grant's watching, and he's making sure we're dotting all our I's and crossing our T's and telling us making sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. That's the boss.
I think Grant's just waiting for his plug. I think that's all that is.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Grant's just,
there it is. You just gave it to him.
He's our biggest critique we got, but he keeps us in line.
Honestly, we appreciate everybody that tunes in and watches and listens, and we try to bring some fun to this show and some knowledge. What very little I have.
You didn't get much with me. All we did was tell some funny stories. I don't know if anybody's any smarter, but after listening to this.
But no, we just want to shed light onto the auction industry. I think it's a hidden gem in today's society, and so we just want to bring a light to that and let the community, let the world know what they're missing out on. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what style, what type of auction you go to. They're all unique, and they're all Electric is a word that can be used there. They're an electric environment. And they can be addictive, you know.
Oh yeah.
And so, but yeah, if you haven't been to an auction lately or never been to an auction, find a local auction, go be a part of it, support it, and you'll be surprised what you find there, and you'll probably be surprised who you meet there. A lot of unique people come to auctions, and some good friendships are made through auction. And like I said, if you haven't been to one, or if you haven't been to one recently, encourage you to get out and find those local auctions and explore a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
We've actually got one coming up June 7th.
June 7th, Hickory Flat. We're
Yep.
taking consignments
Okay.
now. If you've got something you'd like to bring, we'd sure like to earn your business. We're going to have a state champion auctioneer there working that day. Mr. CJ Rea will be there. And we'd encourage you to come. Just check us out. We hope you can make it.
Yeah. You know his paycheck just went up with that state championship. You know his pay tier just went up a notch when he earned that. He earned another.
Well, I was hoping that the winnings were so big that he was just doing it from this point on.
I'm just
Hard.
happy.
Yeah,
I'm just happy to be there. I'm just happy to be there.
You thought he was just coming to sign some autographs from winning the championship. He's just going to sell a few items while he's there, and then do some autographs. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, I try to get you a
That's
little
what
more
I was
money for the
hoping.
weekend.
Yeah,
you know?
hey, if I get anything, I'll split it with you.
Okay. Oh, but man, CJ, it was a pleasure. It was an honor to spend some time with you and hear some great stories of your heritage and where you started and what you've accomplished. And man, just hats off. Congratulations on that championship win. And
Appreciate that.
I kind of feel like this won't be the last time that the auction block has heard from you. So we'll probably have you on here in the near future, and
Would be honored.
We'll cut up and have some fun again.
Absolutely.
And no telling what stories you'll have between now and then to tell us.
Before we go, y'all want to hear the 40-20 crank up? Maybe a good Facebook post to advertise the podcast.
Yeah, see what you can get.
Let's crank her up. I think I got the battery charged.
He's got more nerves than I got. Make sure it's in park.
You're gonna run over the camera.
That's got a lot of guys, man. That's got a lot of guys over the years not cranking them on the seat, but
I can't let it run too long. I got to get a new radiator.
Uh-oh.
She's about ready to get back in the field.
Yeah.
see her smoking there. She's
Yeah.
running.
So
Well, yeah, it's a 40-20. It's going to smoke.
Hey, that's good. That's good. She's running there.
well, that's it for the auction block. I'm Benjamin Bishop, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank y'all all
Appreciate
for
y'all.
watching. Thank you, CJ, for coming. Come see us June 2nd. If you got questions about the auction, give us a call, 662-274-4708. Like and subscribe. Thank you.